So, so when we do the layout, one rule we keep in mind is that we want to make sure that the current loops are very short. Okay, so identifying the current loops, how the current flows, right? So as we identify the flux loops when we do the motor design, we also need to identify the current loops when we do the inverter design. That's very critical, right? We want to keep them short and sweet. So especially gate drive loops, when we are trying to do a high voltage inverter, for example, let's say we want to do a 460 volt inverter with the bus voltage is going to go all the way up to 700 volts, it becomes more critical. And there, so your gate drive circuits have to be really tight so that you don't have dV by dt phenomena, which can then cause a lot of noise into your microcontroller or DSP. Also, you want to make sure that keep these traces very short, okay? So you have to be close to the V bus, okay? So what we normally end up doing in a low voltage drives, we are going to have a V bus plane, okay? Have a whole plane on the PCB, which is called a V bus plane. And then we are going to also use film capacitors and electric capacitors close to these IGBTs or MOSFETs so that the impedance between this point and this point is small, right? So keep these traces extremely short so that we have very small impedance between the V bus and the drain of the top IGBT. Similarly, on the bottom side, we want to have zero impedance between the source of this IGBT and the ground plane, right? So these are the important rules. When you have a high voltage drive, you are going to end up using bus bars connecting different IGBTs. So you want to make sure your bus bar design is such that you are mounting them right on the top, and then you have a grounding bus bar right on the top of these IGBTs so that your impedance is very low. So it's called the impedance control, right? So you can think about normally you can have a plane here, you can have a plane for here, plane here, plane here. These can all be internal planes in your PCB if you're doing a low voltage drive so that your impedance is very small.